Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to John.
Glory to you, Lord Christ.
Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went toward the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent down to look in and saw the linen wrappings lying there, but he did not go in. Then Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb. He saw the linen wrappings lying there, and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple who reached the tomb first also went in, and he saw and believed, for as yet they did not understand the scripture, that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples returned to their homes. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Good morning, and please be seated. So the disciples came and found an empty tomb, and they did not understand. Of all days, here on Easter, we celebrate the resurrection. But what is the resurrection? Why is it that it is probably the most pivotal and the most difficult for us to understand? An empty tomb, no body? What? Our reason, our common sense, that doesn't make sense. Harari, who wrote Deus Homo, or Homo Deus, I can't remember which, in 2017, published a world bestseller. And his whole hypothesis was that we, as people, began to believe in a God primarily because we couldn't understand what was happening around us. We couldn't understand lightning. So there was a God for lightning. We couldn't understand rain or thunder. There was a God for rain and a God for thunder. We couldn't understand how the crops grew, so we had gods for that as well. And then over a period of time, our common sense, our reasoning, our scientific exploration, we began to understand these things. We began to kind of control the nature, and so therefore, we don't need God. Oh yeah, that Jesus, he was a good guy. He probably was a very good teacher. He stood for an awful lot, and I'm so sorry he died on that cross. Oh, how awful. But the tomb was empty. What happened? It doesn't make sense. Even the disciples, even Mary, had no idea what had happened. It just didn't make any sense. And when Jesus began to appear to people, he was recognizable, but not. Even Mary looked at this figure, this human, this whatever, and didn't recognize him, thought he was the gardener. And yet, this figure, who was Jesus but looked different, could eat, you could touch. So Jesus was alive but not alive. He was resurrected but different. But as the human beings have progressed, all of that was kind of left behind because we believe in progress. We believe that eventually human beings can figure it out. That with progress in our scientific learning, things will be better. My father was a chemist, and he thought DDT was the best thing ever, until it wasn't. Until we realized that DDT, with all our progress, may have cured malaria or eradicated that mosquitoes, but it also had repercussions. So our progress, our scientific and our reasoning can go so far, but sometimes it has an underpinning that doesn't work. But as we begin to control nature, as we begin to understand how things are going, one thing that we've never, ever figured out was human nature. Is how can we control human nature? Because in all our progress, we still recognize that some people can be just so mean, can be almost evil. The people who we love can disappoint us. In all our progress, we have even more depression, addiction, isolation, loneliness. We may have controlled nature and not done a very good job with it, but we cannot control human nature. It just seems to be, and we're wandering around without a purpose or a reason. No wonder everybody's kind of off these days. Except us. Because we are the Resurrection Church. We are the ones who have seen the empty tomb and realized that in all of the emptiness of that tomb, there was a breath of hope that somehow or another, though we cannot understand it, Jesus walks again. And he appeared over and over to the 12 and to 500 people in Jerusalem. Some of them recognized him, some of them didn't. Some of them, it took a while, some of it, they never did. But we who are Christians, with a capital C, are the ones who are the revolutionaries in this world, because we are given the mission to do two things. One is to hold sacred all life, and the other is sacrificial love, to keep giving love, the selflessness. Now that may sound like a lot of your friends, and sure, yes, there are a lot of good people in the world. But Christians have a sense of additional power. That when we get discouraged, when we get defeated, when we screw up, we still have this Jesus who walks with us, who gives us sort of an additional power, like a transformer that says, all right, that didn't work, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And we have each other that hold up this guiding ray, if you will, this sense of we must help save this world. That we are the ones who will say, there is love, and let me give it to you. There is sanctity of human beings, that if one person is hurt, so am I. It's that sense of being Christians, primarily because of the empty tomb, the resurrection, and the fact that we believe that Jesus walks with us. Sometimes we can see that. Sometimes we can feel God's presence right with us, holding us, leading us, pushing us from behind, and sometimes we can't. But Jesus is still there. We need each other to point that out, saying, oh, you didn't see the sunrise today? You didn't see that beautiful plant? Who made that? And who's with you now? It's that sense of hope that we have, that regardless of how humanity screws up, we are people of hope, that things will continue to get better. When my son was about 13 or 14, he was very ill, and I had to take him to Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. Because of his age and because of the treatments and because of the tests he had to go through, I was asked to wait in the waiting room, which was this massive room full of chairs and baguettes and little clusters of talking. And as I sat there, I could see, a family that was very worried, talking to each other, perhaps in English, perhaps not. There was another family who looked so sad because there was someone with a white coat who was talking to them. There was little kids running around having no idea that big brother or big sister or little brother were very sick. But only the faces of the parents, you could see, oh my, the sadness on their face. And as I sat there and looked out at this mass of humanity, I also saw Jesus. I saw this presence that was with the different groups, that would lean in to hear, that would put a hand on someone and say, it's okay, and then go on. They would say, David, it's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be all right. Joan, it's going to be okay. It's all right. Marilyn, it's going to be okay. It may be sad. It may be sorrowful. But I will be here. That's why we are here today. To honor, to celebrate the fact that Jesus walks with us. That we too have that additional power. We are the revolutionaries. We are the one who have been given the responsibility, the task, and the joy to say, you are loved to everyone. That is our purpose. That is our mission. There are some who will falter. Let us help them. There will some who will have the faith for all of us. Let us borrow that faith because Jesus is with us. Alleluia, Christ is risen. The Lord is risen indeed.
Alleluia.